Like someone amongst the Democrats just said, like, if Canada let's not kid ourselves.
Kathy Hochul.
Kathy, yes, thank you, and made that
My
statement.
governor.
Like, we would wipe Canada off the map or something like that. I was like,
oh,
whoa.
right, okay.
What? Yeah,
Like,
that's
like
really aggressive.
you would kill innocent civilians in Canada if,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how she could say that.
But I kept on
she's
trying
like
to
making a good point. Like,
Yeah.
Also, I kept on trying to make this. I mean, soft Zionists, liberal Zionists will get really upset. They get prickly when you compare Israel Palestine to literally anything. But we know better than that. But the analogy is, well, they voted for Hamas. We keep on hearing that. Well, what if we were to like target counties that voted for Donald Trump and just killed everyone in that county? Or let's say Trump actually does become a fascist. Let's say he has a militant wing that is armed, that, whatever. Like, imagine that. Would it be right in retribution to murder every single person in the districts that voted for him? No, of course not. No one would say that. But they're paying the price for supposedly who they voted in. I mean, leaving aside like the origins of Hamas and everything like that. But it's just like, that shouldn't be lost on anyone, that this is collective punishment. But Kathy effing Hochul, man, fucking Democrat. I mean, I'm so, after this week with Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my God, that was the worst I've ever seen.
I can't anymore.
It's because they don't have a good defense for any of this. Like the funny thing is, like, they're against any sort of like you mentioned, Francesca, they're against any sort of historical comparisons. But when they go to that drawing board, they need to create a fictional scenario of Canada attacking Buffalo, New York, because there is nothing that they can come up with that would defend this. Like, you are on the wrong side of history, because you can't look back in history and compare your side to any historical event that would be comparative to, like, you being the good guys.
Yeah. And if you criticize them, then apparently you're MAGA. That's what John Fetterman said today. I have the video if you all want to watch it.
He's still on it. Oh my God.
Oh, he's not stopping. He's still very much cheerleading.
He brought this message
genocide.
to the best place to hear it. Morning Joe.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Oh Lord. Of course they had him on.
Yeah.
Finally, he's getting some coverage.
Yeah, I have it ready. Give me 1 sec.
And the president is going to win here in Pennsylvania. And I've always believed that whoever wins Pennsylvania is going to be the next president as well, too. And this is going to be, it's going to be difficult. And we all have to lean in on that. And we also have to start having, all kinds of Democrats criticizing the president, too, publicly. I don't understand why. I don't know what's in it for you to do that, whether you're just
Aren't you in a primary?
in the news or anything like that. But if you're not willing to just support the president now and say these kinds of things, you might as well just get your MAGA hat, because you now are helping Trump at this.
Unbelievable.
He's still going?
It's great because, like, what's the Democratic Party's argument against, like, the hardcore Trump base? They're in a cult, right? They're in a cult. They can't criticize, their sun god emperor or whatever. But here you have John Fetterman on TV going, if you criticize Joe Biden, you might as well just go get your MAGA hat. I mean, that's, of course, not cult-like behavior. We can't criticize Joe Biden, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, if you
did
say
the Jon Stewart, like, come on.
Right. If you say that it's bad
anymore.
No, absolutely no criticism is acceptable. Even if you say, hey, Biden doing the Remain in Mexico policy is literally a Trump era policy, apparently you're MAGA now. Don't go MAGA. No, that's MAGA. Like, it's just, it's such culty behavior. And I hate that. So there is articles about Jon Stewart both sidesing the situation, which he did not do. And then Mary Trump hit back after he responded. And it's just like, girl, you're grifting. Stop. We have to be able to criticize the president, especially if he's aiding and abetting a genocide. If you can't criticize that, then if he's too weak to where any amount of criticism is going to sink his chances, I'm sorry, he shouldn't have ran then.
It's also worth noting, those people are the most, like, when it comes to actually getting people out to vote, people like Jon Stewart are going to be the ones that have the power to be able to do something like that, because they're actually trustworthy, because they're willing to recognize the faults of Joe Biden. If you are simply blind and repeating Democratic talking points, who are you convincing? Like the people that you want, if you actually want to encourage people out to vote, then the people criticizing Biden are the ones doing the best. In Michigan, for example, they're trying to, or they're Tlaib and Andy Levin, former representative, are both putting forward the initiative to vote
uncommitted.
Uncommitted in the primary, and they're doing it because they are trying to warn the administration. They're trying to warn the Biden campaign that you are not going to win the election if you continue down the same strategy by supporting everything Israel is doing. They are doing it to the benefit of Joe Biden. The people like Fetterman, who are just blindly, praising him and not willing to recognize any of the flaws, they're not helping at all. Like the ones that are actually helping Biden's campaign or trying to help him are the ones that are putting forward these kind of campaigns.
If you're terrified of Orange Man Bad coming to power, Donald Trump's going to be a fascist, maybe you should be mad at Joe Biden right now, who is supporting a far-right regime. Like he's the one who you should be directing your anger. He's the one who you should be mad. Everyone is like, oh, but what about the undecided voters? I tell you, I'm really mad about them. It's like, yeah, okay, let them decide, but let the president stop supporting this, because that's what's really fucking with everybody.
We should be able to hold the president accountable for this. I know people are like, oh, if we're gonna, I get it, and that's why I said I understand why people are where they are when it comes to trying to figure out who to vote for, but understanding like our sitting president right now is supporting genocide. We gotta be able to call a thing. And while I like that they are pushing to vote uncommitted for now so that they can hold the president accountable. I don't care if we rocking with the same team. You're not gonna be rocking with me on the wrong side of things. We're gonna have to talk about this. We need to know what leadership looks like, because this ain't leadership. Like, this is not. So I think we should be able to be holding them accountable.
And that's what Stuart's point was, which was if this is the most important election of our lives, if democracy is at stake, then the person going up against Trump is deserving of more, not less scrutiny.
Exactly.
And we need, and you're absolutely right. It definitely is a point, because Stuart at the end of the day will basically he'll make a very labored case, but a hold your nose, and this is a general, and use like fight with your vote, choose your adversary. Well, I think he will do that if Biden remains the nominee, because later in the week, Ezra Klein and Nate Silver both basically Stuart ran cover for them, and they were like, I think Biden should drop out. Like both of them said that. And yet they're not being accused of like both siding anything. No, they're fucking, beloved pundits of the centrist Democratic class.
You've lost Nate Silver. Something.
Yeah.
Seriously. Come on, Democrats.
Truly.
That's incredible.
Smell the paint, please. That's
Truly.
not-
And David Axelrod and everybody. So I'm actually really holding my breath for this year. I think it's going to be wild. Like, I think the only thing that gives me pause is I do think August is a long time away. The convention is a long time away for Democrats. But I feel like a lot's going to change. Like, I truly, I'm not like, and I do think, I was talking to Dave Weigel on my show, The Bitchwation Room. Everyone, hope you're subscribed at Franny Fio. And he was saying, like, Biden didn't give a shit about the protests, doesn't really give a shit about the internal, dissent. But the one way to get to him, it seems, is with something like this Listen to Michigan uncommitted vote. And that would, because if you look at percentages and they can come away from the primary and say, whatever X percentage voted uncommitted, that could be that decisive factor between winning and losing. And that they chose Michigan specifically because they wanted a Midwest state early in the primary campaign. And it just so happens to be the state with like a concentration of Arab American and Muslim voters. And so they fucked themselves. And again, the people of Palestine. But so we will see. Like, I am very curious, and people are making phone calls tonight. Like, people are really out there getting people to, write in uncommitted. But if it's the only thing that gets to this Zionist, because he's a Zionist, we'll see.
Yeah. The one thing that gives me hope is to see so many people not taking the shit. Like, I mean, to the extent that we have power to actually hold them accountable, it's minimal, right? But to see, like, Hillary Clinton heckled everywhere she goes, to see Biden at every fundraiser he goes to be met with hundreds, if not thousands, of ceasefire protesters, that has given me a lot of
Even
hope.
Bernie
Bernie too, and you know what?
Yeah.
He deserves it.